I'm on a journey to get to the most photographable places on the planet, to take viewers on a virtual photo walk, to find the most Instagrammable photo spots, and show how to get great photos like this on your phone. I'm Jefferson Graham, and
you're watching Photowalks TV in San Francisco.
We are back in San Francisco again for another photo walk because last time we just couldn't fit everything into one show. Last time we took you to the San Francisco Classic, the cable cars, the Golden Gate Bridge, the wharf, and today there's more. We want to remind you that San Francisco really is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, despite what you might have heard about problems with crime and homelessness and a deserted downtown. As it is true in other cities, it's not everywhere, it's not widespread, as you saw in part 1 and as you will see in part 2. If you stick to some of the greatest areas in the city, trust me, you'll have a ball. On today's episode, we're going to leave the downtown area and head up to Alamo Square, home of those painted ladies, those Victorians that are right behind me, and then we're going to go check out the Mission District, which is home to some of these wild murals, and we're going to meet the man who has probably painted more of these murals than anyone else, Ernesto Paul. He's quite a trip, and he's going to take us around. As always, I am photographing this episode on the same camera that you're probably using, the phone. There is no need to bring big, heavy photo gear with you anymore on vacation. You can pretty much get mostly everything that you really need to do on your phone. Ready for another photo walk of San Francisco? Alrighty, let's go over that checklist. Clean your lens, check your storage and battery, and if you need to, charge up that phone first. So now let's get this photo walk underway by going over the hill to the historic Haight District, which also has many painted ladies as well. But it's best known as the home of the Summer of Love, the birth of the San Francisco rock and roll sound, and a hippie haven. Today it still has counterculture roots and is a major photo magnet for people looking to see where the Grateful Dead all lived together once upon a time. Beautiful Victorian homes which line the side streets and all those great thrift stores on Haight Street itself. Haight-Ashbury, as it's known, is a short 0.8 of a mile, 15-minute walk from Alamo Square, the home of the painted ladies, roughly 9 blocks away, so I thought it would be fun to start here. Haight Street itself is named after the early California governor, Henry Haight, a controversial figure who espoused racist views of the time. A local school, which was also named after him, changed the name in 2019 to Love Elementary, but no such calls yet for Haight Street to change its name. On Haight Street today, it's all about rock and roll history, from the Love and Hate store on the corner to the bar where Jimi Hendrix performed back in the 1960s, and all those great San Francisco musicians immortalized in the murals like Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. Music is still forever huge in the Haight, with the giant Amoeba record store at the tail end of the street in what was a former bowling alley. Amoeba is considered one of the largest record stores in the world. Beyond music, it's all about fashion and vintage stuff in the Haight. As we head over to Alamo Square, keep in mind that this area was developed at first as a watering hole for the horses en route from other parts of the city to the Mission. But then came the gold rush of 1849 when gold was discovered north of Sacramento, and it transformed nearby San Francisco almost overnight. The population exploded from 1,000 to 25,000 people in just 1 year, and by 1850, San Francisco had become the largest city on the West Coast. So what did these newly wealthy residents do with their fortune? They built impressive Victorian mansions to flaunt their success, and they certainly did not hold back.
Oh, that was a big hill.
Alamo Square is in San Francisco's Western Addition neighborhood, and it's a large park bordered by Victorians on all sides. Steiner Street is the block with the most famous row of Queen Anne-style buildings, but frankly, all are very photographable and wonderful. Beyond the painted ladies, this collection of homes is also known as Postcard Row and they are the stuff of dreams. Many of San Francisco's most posh mansions on Nob Hill were destroyed in the 1906 earthquake, but not these babies, which began getting repainted in the 1960s and are perhaps more stylish today than they were back when. And today, thanks to endless reruns of Full House, the Painted Ladies, which are all private homes, have taken on a life of their own as featured characters on everything from posters and cards to sweatshirts, paintings, and even puzzles. You may know what's called the Painted Ladies as something you saw in the opening credits to the old TV show Full House, or the sequel Fuller House. You've certainly seen it on every postcard of San Francisco. Well, today we've got a rare invite to go inside one of them on a tour. So come join me. So on to the Painted Ladies, or more specifically, this one Painted Lady, a house owned by George, who leads tours of his home every day, which begins with us meeting outside the steps for an orientation. Once inside, we take off our shoes, put down our backpacks, and explore all 3 stories of this vintage house, which George told us about afterwards in a one-on-one interview.
Next door here, they just got to go. Hard to believe, but I'm told by tour guides almost every day that a good percentage of the people on their buses ask them if anybody lives in these houses, and they seem surprised.
My big question, there are Painted Ladies all over San Francisco, but what is it about Postcard Row, this collection of houses on Steiner Street? What's with the fascination?
It's the photo composition. So it's the park, and then with the way the hill is, and then the little repeat of the houses kind of going down the hill, and then the city shoots up behind it. So just that photo composition is what made them famous.
The house is quite impressive on the inside as we marveled at all the antiques liberally displayed on all 3 floors, the workmanship and the fixtures, and how George has kept it looking much like it probably did 100 or so years ago, except for the kitchen, which is modern and contemporary. It's from the back window of the kitchen that George has a killer view of the city, right there.
There's over 70 TV shows and movies filmed just on this street here. There's some of the big ones. The Corner House was Junior with Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. There's one called Maxie with Glenn Close and Mandy Patinkin. Next door was Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland and Leonard Nimoy. It was also the home of Alice Walker, who wrote The Color Purple.
Okay, who's up for the next chapter in our photo walk? Because I've got a really easy half-hour stroll from Alamo Square to what is one of the most least visited but way overlooked buildings in the city, the old Mission Dolores. It is actually the oldest still erect building in San Francisco, dating back to the 1700s. So how to get there? Well, easy. From the Painted Ladies on Steiner, continue down Steiner Street for 7 blocks. You will merge onto Sanchez, where, if you want to take a break, the DeVos Park Cafe makes a wonderful resting and snap stop. Continue down Sanchez until you cross 16th Street. Go 2 blocks and you will end up at the Old Mission. Photo tip, you'll get your best shot of the building from the Meridian across the street, but more on the Mission Church, the area, which is chock full of amazing colorful murals, and the man who painted many of them, after we come back from the break. Before the break, we explored 2 of the great districts of San Francisco, the Haight-Ashbury, which is all about rock and roll history, an abundance of trendy thrift stores, and beautiful Victorian homes which line the side streets. We also stopped by Alamo Square, the home of the Painted Ladies.
Now let's go to the Mission.
How was that? That was Ernesto Paul, the prolific painter of some of the best murals in the Mission District, which is known for its colorful art and being a taste of Little Mexico. We'll meet up with him in a minute, but first, let's begin at the historic Mission Dolores, the oldest building in San Francisco way back when. The city was one of the first to be established in the state, founded by Spanish settlers who set up a military outpost by the water. They called it the Presidio, and of course, we visited the Presidio in part one. They also built a large religious structure called the Mission. I'm standing in front of it right now. This was built in 1776, the same year of the American Revolution, and has remained intact ever since. It even outlived the earthquake. The Mission is notable for its Spanish colonial architecture with a blend of adobe and wood construction, along with beautiful details like the Mission's bell tower and the charming chapel. Inside, it's a marvel. Love that roof, and you know how Jeff likes to take pictures of roofs, right? By lying on his back and looking up. Outside, you get a great San Francisco cemetery, something you don't see often within the city limits. Alfred Hitchcock also loved it and used the Mission in his 1958 love letter to San Francisco, Vertigo. It was here where the Jimmy Stewart character followed the Kim Novak character after a big confrontation. After the Mission, we took a lift car over to Mission Street. Murals are all over the city, but the biggest concentration of them are in the Mission District, originally the home of Spanish-speaking San Francisco. Their presence is still huge today, although the neighborhood has been gentrified. As immigrants began moving to the Mission District in the 1940s and later, they brought their tradition of street art along with them, a trend that continues today, and they now also adorn the entire neighborhood on a variety of topics. The biggest concentration of murals are in Balmy Alley, which is known for its always changing collection of murals, free to be viewed at all times. Around the corner from Balmy Alley, we met up with Ernesto at his favorite local restaurant for our interview.
Good afternoon. The king of the Mission murals. How many murals have you done here?
About 12 right now that they're still, alive, you would say, that haven't been painted over or there.
Why are the murals so popular in the Mission area, do you think?
Well, I think they started way back, and now you see a lot of taquerias with murals, like a cultural movement, adding color to the community.
Have you done murals at taquerias?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite, yeah.
Yeah? Why is it your favorite? Do they pay you in burritos?
Yeah, well, they kind of like baby you, with burrito food. They fatten you up,
Ernesto invited us to go see his masterpiece at the laundromat. It was a few blocks away by bus.
Tell people about the Mission District who've never come to San Francisco, who's only come here and go to the Golden Gate Bridge and go to the cable cars. Why should they come out here?
Well, this is like a lot of people say this is like a little Mexico. Other people call it Tijuana. It's cousin. Some other people call it Central America. Depends where they're coming from,
Yeah, but they should come here because it's colorful, because the food is great.
Well, I think they call it the Latin cultural area, but it's not just the music and the painting, but it's also the dancing.
There's also a taco shop on every corner.
Yeah, pretty much. There's like 15 of them all the way down from Mission, all the way down to Potrero, somewhere down there. Yeah.
La Corneta, that's your favorite?
Yeah, I love La Corneta because it's my favorite color, yellow. It's like bright and clean, like a canary or so that kind of thing.
On the next episode of Photowalks, right from the Mission bus,
Here we
an interview
go.
with Ernesto, the mural king.
After we got off the bus, Ernesto told me the secret of how to do a great mural.
You need to have the motivation first, I would say. And then you can't be intimidated by the size of the wall. And then you have the theme, you're already halfway there.
You did the mural outside of the laundromat and inside of it.
Yeah, we're gonna go inside and you'll see the one inside. I'll show you. All right.
So this is it. This is your pride and joy.
Yeah, this is where I come and wash my clothes. I call it wash and wear. See the hat? That's the same cousin there. Hola.
Okay.
So my
you
favorite.
had to do all this on a ladder.
Yeah, we had a little scaffold here.
How long did this mural take?
Maybe close to a month, yeah.
So how does that make you feel to come into a laundromat every day and see your work up on the wall?
Oh, it feels great. It feels like I live here, part of it, I don't know, it doesn't matter what part of town I live. I still come and wash my clothes I come on the bus or walk here, you know.
Why do we love murals?
I think it takes you to another world, and like this one, and like the one outside, it's a window to nature, because we live in the city and the fast pace is always like hurry up. So when you go into the land or the country, there is no time. There is no looking at the watch, or you know, you have to hurry up and get this done or that date, or it's more like relaxed. It's like you're in country time, which is, there is no clocks there.
So where is this?
Okay, this is somewhere in Mexico. And if you see the background, the mountains starting from the top,
Yeah.
they have snow. So it has to be a very high place above 7,000. That's one of the cases.
You did this in 2007,
Yes.
490 square feet.
Yeah, almost 500, you would
Is
say.
that your biggest mural you've done?
With this kind of detail and this kind of topic, yes.
We ended our afternoon with Ernesto by stopping into the Ptg&x muralist storefront, where he spends a lot of time and he has artwork hanging along with other local artists. Ptg&x Murals offers art classes and tours of local murals. It describes itself as one of only a handful of community mural centers in the U.S. and says its tours are designed to educate the public of the history, process, impact, and preservation of mural art.
All right, we're going to let you get back to work.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, yeah.
As we prepare to say goodbye for now to San Francisco, well, a quick reminder that we'll actually be back after the break to show you how I got some of my best shots of the city with a smartphone. And as always, I'll have plenty of tips for you. But first, let's just look back for a moment at some of the photo highlights we've covered here in San Francisco over the last 2 episodes of Photowalks. You know, I'm with Tony Bennett. I always leave my heart here whenever I visit, and I can't wait to return. It's Photo Tip time, where I show you how to get pro-level photos on your smartphone. Once again, we're back in San Francisco.
Most people take their painted lady shots right here, and they get a little bit of the city skyline behind, and that's fine. That's good. But if they're willing to walk up the park all the way on the other side of the bushes and go on telephoto, they will get a really killer shot.
As you can see, the photo taken with the 1x wide-angle lens, it looks fine, but it's not the beauty shot that everybody lusts after. That one is taken at telephoto, whether that's 2x, 3x, 5x. It compresses the image. It brings those big buildings, the city, closer to the painted ladies. But again, the trick is that you must use your feet and move up the hill to get to look down to see those buildings, because if you're standing below, you're not going to see them at all, right?
Panorama is a tool that's on every smartphone, widescreen shot from one side to the next. You know, you could shoot this in telephoto at your 3x, at your 5x, and you could get quite a shot. And this is just made for pano. On one side of the painted ladies, all the way across, and you get all those beautiful buildings. You shoot it vertically, but you're actually getting a horizontal pano. And we got the whole thing there with the city behind her.
Here's a safety tip. It's fun to put your camera on a tripod and have it photograph you when nobody's there to help you out. But you know, that's how I got my camera stolen in San Francisco on a previous trip, when I did just that. Somebody came by and grabbed the camera when I was recording. Now, this guy's camera is so far away from his blanket, he's almost asking for it to be swiped. Thieves know that big cameras are worth thousands of dollars. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but if you're going to, at least have your camera within arm's length. Finally, let's go back to the mission and see our old friend Ernesto again. I had told you that I would show you how I got great portraits of the mission muralist using portrait mode on the iPhone. So let's dive right in. The beauty of shooting in portrait mode is that not only can you get a really nice image of somebody and blur the background to put the focus on your subject, but you can also adjust the amount of background blur after you take the picture, something we never got to do in the analog photo days. So here's what to do. Open the Photos app on your iPhone and find the image you want to work on. Click the Edit tab at the bottom of the screen. Then at the top left, click the F, which now shows you virtual f-stops under your photo. Scroll from left to right to adjust the blur, with 2.8 being the blurriest and 16 having a totally sharp background. Now, the other thing you get to do is adjust the type of portrait lighting for your photo. Apple has several choices. Click the yellow icon next to the f-stop and then scroll the wheel at the bottom. For natural light, studio, contour, stage for a black background, stage light mono for the same look in black and white, and high key light mono. My favorite for this shot of Ernesto and pretty much everybody is the second choice, studio light, as it really nicely brightens up the face. What's your favorite? Let me hear from you at the photowalkstv.com website. And speaking of Photowalks,
I'm Jefferson Graham. I'll see you on the next Photo Walk.